My wife's best friend randomly cut her off years ago and she sent my best friend to guilt trip her into coming back, but now I'm the one cutting her off since she refuses to get a test to prove our new baby is mine. My, 44M, wife Cynthia, 41F, and I have been married for almost 15 years. I raised her older children as my own. We have 2 kids together and one that she just gave birth to, but I won't sign the birth certificate until I get a DNA test. Back in 2014, we had a huge crisis due to her infidelity. Her AP was her supervisor, and I only found out when she was abruptly fired and the company filed a case against her for allegations that I won't discuss here. Her supervisor was a co-defendant. She had to come clean about the whole thing, including having had an affair that lasted 2 years. I completely lost all trust in her. I requested paternity tests on our kids together, they are mine, got a lawyer, and moved out. I eventually forgave her and tried to move on because the pain of breaking up our family and not seeing the kids every day was unbearable. We had a very good run until now. Our relationship felt stronger. The sex was great, I felt like she was the woman that I fell in love with and was very happy that I gave us another chance. Years ago, her best friend Dana, 42F, cut her off. They were friends since grade school, but Dana abruptly ended the friendship, changed her number, and even blocked me and our older kids everywhere. Cynthia expressed sadness about it for years and often talked about Dana like a true sister. When my wife got pregnant, with this last baby, she got very depressed about everything. Dana was our go-to person in case of emergency, so I thought maybe some type of closure would help. I managed to get Dana's contact information from a friend in common and asked if she would be willing to talk. To my surprise, she was interested. The conversation wasn't what I expected. She called me a flying monkey and said I ought to be ashamed for enabling my wife. She said she was absolutely fed up with Cynthia and that she abandoned the friendship because she got tired of feeling like a tool, always having to do favors and being generally at my wife's service. She said she was unable to share anything because my wife only talked about herself and that my wife failed to even thank her for gifts and other things, but kept raising the bar and asking for more and more stuff from her. Dana mentioned having attempted a slow fade, but my best friend Gary, 48M, stepped in, and it put her off tremendously. I didn't know this. I didn't know that Gary was sent by my wife to talk Dana out of restricting their time together when her best friend became distant and that he pressured her and tried to force her to contact Cynthia, and that this resulted in a complaint against him because his messages became menacing and he hinted at sending her spyware. I know Gary can be intense but never like this. He works in IT, so the spyware part is not entirely impossible. Dana and Gary never had any contact prior to this. Dana cut everyone off out of distrust and because she did pursue a complaint against him with the authorities. She sent me evidence, the court case number, and receipts. I'm hurt because not only did he get in trouble for trying to help my wife, but he actually got into a serious situation, and it was kept a secret from me. I confronted him, and he said that he was just trying to help. I confronted my wife, and she said she was desperate because Dana had always been her main support system. This did it for me. I don't care how many times my wife says nothing else was going on, I have no way to erase the idea that they might be hiding other things. The fact that Cynthia managed to get Gary to do something that he knows is illegal and that he went too far trying to please her makes me wonder about things. Also, during our entire conversation, Dana insisted that Cynthia is a black hole of a person and that she was disgusted that not only my wife had been using her for years, but would not think anything of engaging third parties to enable herself to keep extracting benefits for whoever she wants. To make matters worse, I asked if she knew that my wife had cheated, and she said yes and that it played a part in her disowning her. I will not even be able to go back to talking with Dana because she made it clear that she wants nothing further. Back in the day, I thought Gary looked off, but when I asked, he said it was about him separating from his ex and that he was bummed out. I talked to Cynthia about it. I told her that I reached out to Dana and what she said. She looked horrified. We went over that for days until I couldn't take it anymore and asked if she and Gary had any time of inappropriate involvement. She reacted, angry, and seemed very offended. Also, now I feel that maybe her depression over Dana wasn't real. Maybe she wanted to use that so that I could accommodate her with whatever she wanted. I requested a paternity test on the baby, and she flat out said no. She threatened to divorce me. This is why I moved out weeks before she gave birth. I refused to drive her to the hospital or be in the birthing room. All I'm asking is for confirmation that it's my child and she isn't acting cooperative. She tried to deny Dana's complaint to the authorities, despite me offering evidence. Gary has apologized for keeping secrets, but he's denying ever sleeping with her. I'm anxious, but sometimes, I get very numb and wonder if I'm being crazy. I understand that Dana was very right to act the way that she did, but I have no evidence of cheating or an affair between Cynthia and Gary. This has affected my health, and sometimes I feel that the less I see or hear from Cynthia, the less chances to get an anxiety or panic attack. Obviously, my family knows that we are separated and are showing divided opinions. Some say that I was impulsive and that I'm jumping to conclusions. They didn't know about her cheating years ago. I'm not meeting the new baby until she can prove my paternity. She's having health issues related to post-birth. I'm present for my kids and haven't skipped on my duties, but told her to either have a relative come help her out or move to their place temporarily because I will not be helping her in any way until this is resolved. She says that I'm being abusive and that being alone in the maternity ward was humiliating. Am I a jerk?